Oleksandr Usyk is the greatest heavyweight of this era. However, the division feels stuck, and we need to have an open and honest conversation about what Oleksandr Usyk is currently doing that is a problem in the heavyweight division. Now, look, guys, I love Oleksandr Usyk. I think he's the greatest of this era. I think he's fantastic. I think Oleksandr Usyk is the best fighter I have seen with my eyes in the ring. And I've watched a lot of fights, but I think Usyk is just special. He's an incredible fighter. And I love Usyk. And he deserves all the plaudits. He deserves the credit. He deserves everything that he's getting. But guys, we need to have an open and honest conversation about Usyk and his lack of decision with his next opponent and what he's going to do next in the heavyweight division, because Usyk holds 3 of the 4 belts, and whatever Usyk does impacts the division. And so far, Usyk is not making a decision, which is affecting heavyweight boxing. Now, I want you guys, and if you're a fan of Usyk, take your fan hat off and let's have a conversation about what is currently happening in the heavyweight division. Okay, so I don't know what's going on, but Usyk cannot seem to make a decision about who he's fighting next. Because as you can see, right, just recently, a few days or a day ago, the WBC ordered Usyk to fight Agit Kabayel. Now, the ruling in this case is that Usyk must fight Kabayel after Usyk fights his voluntary challenger, which Usyk requested, and the WBC granted Usyk the opportunity to take this voluntary challenger, right? But who is Usyk going to fight next? Why is Usyk taking so long to make a decision? And if he's going to fight someone, surely as a champion, someone that holds 3 belts, surely he should fight someone that is deserving of the opportunity, right? It should make sense, guys. That is what I'm thinking. And I want you guys to get in the comment section. As I said, let's have an open and honest conversation. I am happy to hear what you guys' opinions are about this situation, because I think it's becoming a problem, right? I think Usyk is holding up the division, and we need to talk about it. And that's what we do on this channel. We have real conversations. So look at this here, right? Initially, Usyk was going to fight Deontay Wilder, and that's what everyone thought about. Deontay Wilder came out. He said that Usyk and I are in talks. We're going to make this fight happen. Usyk's manager, I think promoter, Igis Klimas, I think he came out. He said that we're going to have this either in Las Vegas or in California. And then, lo and behold, we saw Deontay Wilder fighting Derek Chisora instead. That fight's not been made. It's been announced. It's going to happen in London at the O2. And I'm looking forward to that fight. But what happened with Usyk and Deontay Wilder? Why did that fight collapse? Why is Usyk not fighting Deontay Wilder? Now, at that time, and still, I think it was the wrong decision for Usyk to want to fight Deontay Wilder, because I think it's a mismatch here. Deontay Wilder fighting Derek Chisora is a much better fight, and I'd love to see that fight. I'm going to pay to watch that fight. Usyk versus Deontay Wilder, though, was not the right fight. And I criticized that fight, and I was happy to see that Deontay Wilder is fighting, Derek Chisora. But then again, the question remains, why is Usyk taking so long? Why is Usyk not fighting someone and moving the division on? Because the division has to move on, right? And then there was another rumor about Oleksandr Usyk taking on Andy Ruiz. So then I go, why is Usyk fighting Andy Ruiz? What is the point of fighting Andy Ruiz? Now, I understood the premise behind Usyk's decision of fighting Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder is one of those champions that he's not fought yet. Deontay Wilder reigned for 10 years, and Usyk thought that maybe Deontay Wilder, would be a good fighter to have on his resume, because he's beaten Anthony Joshua twice, Tyson Fury twice, Daniel Dubois twice. So, beating Deontay Wilder would be good for his resume. Andy Ruiz is also another champion in that division, in that time. But I never really understood the point of fighting Andy Ruiz, because Ruiz was a champion for just one fight. And in my opinion, Ruiz could not bring himself to be a credible champion a respectable champion that takes his craft seriously. Ruiz ate himself and lost the fight, right, to Anthony Joshua in a rematch. So if Usyk wants to fight Ruiz because he feels like he needs to get another champion on his record, this fight does not make sense to me at all, right? Fighting Andy Ruiz. But this is a rumor, and, according to reports, Usyk wants this fight. So once again, it just doesn't make any sense. It seems as though Usyk cannot make the right decision. He can't make he's indecisive here. He's not wanting to fight, for me, in my opinion, credible people like Agit Kabayel or Wardley, who recently won the WBO title that Usyk vacated, right? He's not willing to fight them. So why is he fighting someone like Andy Ruiz? It doesn't make sense. And then just a few hours ago, we hear this news that Oleksandr Usyk is rumored to be fighting this guy called Rico van Hooven. And as you can see here, this is Turki Oleksandr who tweeted about this. As you can see here, he says, I want to see him against Usyk. And Turki Oleksandr is willing to make this fight. So then again, I ask myself, what is going on with Oleksandr Usyk? Why is Usyk taking so long to make a decision? What is holding Usyk back? Because there must be an issue here. Because Usyk is someone that has always been very decisive and very quick in making the right decisions, and he's always wanted to take every opponent. Usyk has fought all his other opponents, apart from Daniel Dubois, which he fought in Poland, everyone in their backyard, by the way, and he's beating them. So I don't think Usyk is afraid or Usyk is a ducker. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is Usyk is holding up the division. Usyk has to make a decision. Usyk has to fight credible fighters. Usyk has to move the division on. Usyk is the champion. Usyk holds 3 of the 4 belts. Usyk's decision impacts the heavyweight division. If Usyk fights Kabayel, the interim WBC belt become vacant and someone else can fight for it, right? If Usyk fights Kabayel and loses, Kabayel becomes a champion and he deserves that opportunity. But fighting someone like Andy Ruiz, who in my opinion does not deserve an opportunity because he hasn't done anything to warrant that opportunity, doesn't make sense to me. Fighting, this guy here, Rico van Hooven, who is not a boxer, doesn't make sense to me. Like, Oleksandr Usyk is holding up the division and is becoming a problem. And as I said, I want you guys to put your fan hat aside. Usyk, I love him. I think he's great. But we need to have an open and honest conversation. Just like we always do about every topic in boxing, we need to have that. I love Usyk, but I think there's an issue here. That something is going on here that Oleksandr Usyk has to work out. And one thing that popped into my mind was the fact that Usyk's old promoter or old manager, Alex Krasik, who, I think had a fantastic partnership with Oleksandr Usyk. They work really well. He did a lot of the communication for Usyk. I feel like when Krasik was with Usyk, Krasik made or, influenced Usyk to make better decisions about his career. Now, could that be an issue? Could there be an issue there where because Krasik is not in the camp anymore, it's not with Usyk, that Usyk is lacking that decision making, that Usyk is lacking something within the team where he cannot, trust the people around him to make the right decision, or, are they having issues in the camp as to why Usyk is just here, there and nowhere and not really being able to make the right decision for his career? I'm just asking questions here, but it seems as though there's an issue. There's an issue with Oleksandr Usyk and his team and the things that they're doing. But for me, Usyk has to make a decision. He has to make it quick. For me, Usyk has to pick a credible opponent to fight. Someone that we will respect. Someone that everyone goes, yes, you're meant to do this as a champion, right? As a unified champion, by the way, holding 3 belts, including the Ring Magazine belt. You fight someone and boxing fans go, yes, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to pay for. Fighting a kickboxer champion, fighting Andy Ruiz, fighting someone like Deontay Wilder, who, in my opinion, never deserved the opportunity to fight for the unified belt when you have other fighters like, Fabio Wardley or, Agit Caballero, who are ready and primed to fight. For me, that is what we want to see. Usyk fighting anybody else doesn't make sense to me. So look, I want you guys to get in the comment section and let me know what you think about this whole topic. Is Oleksandr Usyk holding up the division? Is Oleksandr Usyk becoming a problem in the heavyweight division right now because of his lack of decision making about his next fight? Get in the comment section and let me know what you think about it. Genuinely.